everybody, and welcome to another lesson, Bass Lessons by Barry. Today I would like to talk a little bit about modes and why they're such an important part of my playing and my knowledge. And I just want to start by saying, well, first off, thanks for all the really nice comments that I'm getting from people all over the place about the lessons. I really do appreciate it. Second is, for those of you getting to know me, you probably realize that I am a huge Fender fan. I love my Fender gear. If you're looking right now, you're thinking, man, he's not playing a Fender. Well, this is actually a Fender. This is a 1991 Fender Prophecy 2. It's a really nice guitar. It's a little bit hard on the ground. The grounding's not that great. Active electronics, but the neck on this guitar is like butter. Very, very fast. I love this guitar, but it is another Fender. Now, what I'd like to talk about is modes, and I had played for a lot of years. I got to be a relatively adequate player, and I could be in a jam situation and go to do a run, and out of 20 notes or 25 notes that I played, 18 of them would sound good, and the other ones, and I knew my scales and not really killer well. I would have this area of the neck, between 5 and say 15, that sometimes up in there was just like no man's land, and it was just scary stuff. I knew exactly my G and my G, and I could go but to play through here. So I was looking around and trying to figure it out, and it just wouldn't come to me. And one day I picked up, and I generally don't push products or anything like that, but I will always give credit where credit's due. And I found this book, The Musician's Institute, and man, it opened doors for me. The circle of people that I had played with all my life, none of them were educated. There was lots of really good players, but none of us had any formal education. So, names of scales and modes had never come up, blah, 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 blah. Well, I come across this, and the Musician's Institute, this book has now become my Bible. I learned so much from this, the way it was laid out, and understanding of modes and how they, I remember seeing these huge pieces with the whole, every note of a G major scale, and looking at it and understanding, every note there, but thinking, what do I do with that? Like, how do I play that? So all of a sudden, when these guys opened the door up for me about modes, all of a sudden I could look at that massive pile of notes and understand each section of it. Well, what that did for me, it was eye-opening. It was enlightening. It just like went. And years ago, they used to make this guitar where you could turn it to the key of G, and there was all these lights, and every note in the key of G would light up on your neck. And it was like that. So I started to learn these, and what it's done is just completely opened up everything. So you'll notice on my website, I've dumped a bunch of lessons on there, and the way that I teach the modes is I could play them all over top in the G position. I could go, G major, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, but when they're over top of each other, they really don't get their own identity. So what I do is I teach the modes out of a one-string scale, so that each mode gets its own character. So once you start to understand that, and you shift it to F, or you take it to A, and you understand that circle never, ever breaks, where you can, play in the key of G, and understand that when you're here at your A, you're in your Dorian. Here I'm in my Phrygian. You can start to understand how these guys can move these slide positions around the neck, because all they do is follow through scales. Like, I pick up that one string scale and I'll take it to this G. Position 1, position 2, position 3. My top hand plays notes inside the scale, while my other hand plays inside the scale. So again, position 1, 2, 3. So you start with, now I move up. All through the scale. You start to learn your modes, and you can apply the modes in these tapping positions. Like say you take your Phrygian pattern. So we're going to take it out of A sharp. Right? So now we've got. So modes are very, 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 very important. It just, a lot of musicians refer to, hitting a plateau, and I always refer to it as hitting a door. I'd be kicking at that door, and I couldn't get it open. Something new would have to come along, and when this came along by modes, man, it opened the doors, and it was just massive. So, anyways, on that note, I'm going to end today's lesson. It's just learn your modes. They're such essential knowledge for all your abilities to jam, to learn other people's material, to write, to just make you a more fully rounded bass player, and in any kind of genre you want to play, from country to rock to funk, any of it. So, anyways, on that note, I'm going to call it a day, and I will see you again soon.